And so,
Yeah.
I see a lot of that underway with respect to how the West, where Russia does things that are viewed by them as a gesture of conciliation, the West interprets it as see, they're weak. See, they're going to surrender any minute now. This like the latest attack in Kiev. They're saying that's just a sign of desperation.
Yeah.
No, that's a sign that they're pissed off. That's what
Yeah.
that's a sign of.
Somebody expressed it like Putin is now finally taking the gloves off
Yeah, yeah,
because of the strike that they did on that school in Luhansk or Lugansk, whatever it's
yeah.
called.
Lugansk.
Lugansk, yeah. So, and this call also, Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, I guess, called up Marco Rubio and told him reportedly, you got to take this call. And Rubio did. What's your assessment of the result of that phone call?
Well, it was the Russians putting the United States on notice. Get your people out. We're going to hit Kiev. And I think there's revealing in that approach. Uh, um, the up to this point, I think Russia has avoided striking these targets in Kiev over the last 4 years for a couple of reasons. One, they recognized that there were Westerners present in those locations, so they didn't want to hit it and kill Americans or Europeans, and then run the risk that the war could escalate. I think another drawback was they had intelligence sources in there and didn't want to compromise those intelligence sources, and they calculated they're getting better. The information they were getting out was more valuable than any damage they could do. Um, they've surpassed that. They've gone past that breaking point now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so we're now in a stage where Russia is going to ramp the war up. They're going to kill anybody who's in those locations will be killed. And if it's Europeans, Americans, too bad. And this is the last step before they start hitting targets in actual Europe, for particularly drone manufacturers and those supplying component parts to drones.
Yeah. Sweden's Prime Minister, Ulf Kristersson, recently at the NATO summit there in South Sweden recently, he said that we're going to help Ukraine with satellite information about targets inside Russia.
Uh-huh.
That's his statement. I'm pretty much a little bit worried about living in Stockholm right now.
Yeah, well, again, just as long as you're not next to a military plant or
No, I'm not.
facility. Yeah, because Russia's not going to do indiscriminate strikes and kill civilians. Um, they're very much like sort of the Iranian Shia in that regard. They too are not. They're very cautious about just launching missiles without regard where they're going to fall. They want to make sure that they're hitting military intelligence targets, uh, but not civilian targets.
Mhm. We had the information that Ukraine, according to Kiev, stated that they're going to retaliate with 6,000 drones per day. Where are they going to get a hold of those drones?
Yeah, England.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody
supposedly.
knows that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's incredible.
yeah. It is just again, if the UK persists in that, they're making themselves a target. They will
Mhm.
be. It's a target that Russia will hit. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, but
I
like you said, they're discriminating. Mostly it's going to be military targets. But in the case of Kiev, what Lavrov, I guess, said, and plus a lot of others, representatives for Russia, I mean, they've been avoiding Kiev because Russia considers it's the birth of their nation.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Hey,
it's
both in terms of Christianity and
right.
politically.
Yeah. The birthplace of the Russian nation historically. But now gloves are off, I guess, because They said straight out, we're going to hit them. We're going to hit command centers, administered government buildings, and Lavrov's message to Rubio, get your people out because we don't want to kill you.
Yeah, yeah. That is, something that this is just Russia bluffing. They're crazy to believe that.
Hmm.
Russia does not bluff, and the fact that you've got so many on the European side who are making the opposite claim. So we're gonna watch here. I anticipate starting tonight, tomorrow night at the latest, that Russia is going to make good on its threat. We gave you a warning, get out. If you failed to get out, you're going to pay the price now. They're going to avoid or try to avoid hitting civilian shelters. So everybody will be scurrying to get underground. And the good news about the Kiev subway system is modeled after Moscow's, which was built to design to be a bomb shelter in the event of a nuclear blast.
Right. Yeah, they're pretty well built by Russians.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scott Ritter made an interesting calculus earlier today. I think it was on Napolitano about the Oreshnik, which they used a couple
Right.
the other day. At minimum, Russia probably have, according to Scott Ritter, and he usually has pretty good information, about 50 or 60 Oreshniks ready to go. They started manufacturing last year, maybe in September, August of 2025. So given that their industrial capacity, they should have at least 50 of them now.
Yeah.
How many does it take? I mean, Oreshnik is not the only horrific weapon that Russian possesses. They have the Iskanders, they have the Kinsal, they have others. What do you think?
Well,
are they going to be limited with this, or are they going to go all out?
Well, again, you got to step back and look at, okay, what's the timing of this? What's driving the Russians' willingness now to issue this threat, and a threat that extends to the Europeans? I think prior, up until this year, the Russians had not fully built up their arsenal of missiles, where we're talking, the Iskanders as an example, across the board, the entire class of ballistic missiles, including the hypersonic missiles that they've developed. They were working to build up a certain inventory in the event that, as they press the war home against Ukraine, and Ukraine loses, that if NATO decides to enter, then Russia is assured that it has ample inventory to destroy NATO. And I think that's why that's another reason why this attack on Kyiv that we've seen in the last 2 days ago, that's why they're making the threat, get your people out now, because we're now ready. We've got a full complement. We got what we need to defeat them. And if NATO decides to get involved, we have what we need to defeat NATO.
Mm-hmm. And that would probably involve strikes on Berlin, London, Paris, or in vicinity of those cities.
Yeah, at least factories in those cities.
Right. Okay. Another question. Ukraine actually invaded Russia in August of 2024 in the Kursk region.
Right.
Weren't they afraid of that Russia would take that seriously at that time? They took the Russians about, 2 months to fight back and get them out of there?
No, actually, it took about 6 months.
6 months, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so remember, they invaded in September, and it was the following March that Abdialadinov launched that famous attack. Where they entered through a gas pipeline. They marched 14 kilometers bent over through a narrow passageway to come out at the other end and surprise the Ukrainians and drive them off. So, but again, that was another example where Russia, there was other things Russia could have done that would have been more extreme that might have risked bringing the West into the war more fully than it already was on behalf of Ukraine. And that's where, um, the Russians exercised restraint. And
Mhm.
they went, they weren't rushing. They were under no pressure. And so they were able to systematically take it back and destroy. It destroyed a significant portion of Ukrainians' military force. And it was a needless loss. It didn't
Yeah,
accomplish anything other than piss the Russians off.
exactly. Yeah. Patrick Lancaster was actually there for a while reporting very bravely.
Right, right.
Uh, saw some of I've seen all of his footage. Pretty shocking, actually.
Yeah.
Another thing, there's talk about, and I don't know exactly if this is true, when it comes to the attack on the one hand, the school in Iran, which killed a lot of young students, innocent civilians, and also the latest one in Lugansk, that targeting was done by AI, specifically Palantir,
Hmm.
the criminal company. Is there any truth to that? That it's
Here,
they're using AI to target?
hang on here. I'll read something to you.
Okay,
Stand by. Uh, where'd you go here, AJ? Uh, uh, what did?
take your time.
Yeah, you'll appreciate it once I get this out here. God, where did he go? Um, huh. Oh, I know what the problem is. Okay. Um, so I got this from a U.S. Army military intelligence analyst. He's an officer, recently retired. He said Maven, which is Palantir owned, has been around for years and was used in some places, though not universally adopted. It was fought at UCOM and other places for quite some time. Uh, from the user side, it mostly looked like another dashboard ingesting Intel feeds, etc., though I believe there was already some back-end AI targeting functionality occurring behind the scenes. But for many end users, there was little or to no direct interaction with anything recognizable as AI. Fast forward to now, and on all the, I'll call them the high side, the top secret side of the house, the change is dramatic. AI licenses and integrations are everywhere, practically advertised the moment you log in. Systems are increasingly auto-loaded with AI functionality across applications, which is useful in some cases, but it also introduces real reliability concerns. For example, an analyst can now dump multiple reports, briefs, or PowerPoints into an AI tool on this top secret side of a computer and have it generate products, summaries, slides, scripts, etc. The problem is that just like commercial AI, it still occasionally produces garbage, inaccuracies, hallucinations, or poorly sourced conclusions. If a time-crunched analyst or watch officer is relying on that output for last-minute products or briefing material, that has obvious implications. Personally, I used AI in a number of low-priority lessons learned memos that were going into the Joint Lessons Learned system and effectively disappeared into the void anyway. At a certain point, it almost felt inefficient not to use AI for low-level administrative writing, but that naturally raises the question, what happens when people begin leaning on it for higher-level operational or analytical products under deadline pressure? So there's a long answer to your question.
Well, it's an interesting answer, really. Simplifying it a little bit from my perspective, trash in, AI, trash out.
Yep.
AI is not smarter than the input available. And if the input is wrong. AI is wrong. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, it's a scary world. Let me ask you, you living in the United States, how unpopular is the war against Iran among people, everyday people in the United States?
Yeah. It's not popular at all. I think that explains large measure why the people opposed to his policy, thinks he's doing a bad job as president, is now 63%.
Wow.
So
Disapproval,
yeah,
63%.
it's almost two-thirds.
Right.
Two-thirds of America. It's the lowest. This is the lowest rating a president's had since Richard Nixon in his second term, when the whole Watergate mess was blowing up on him.
Wow. Compare that to Israel. What's the opinion around among Israelis?
Yeah, well, they may like Trump, they hate Netanyahu, but regardless, they may hate Netanyahu, they get rid of him. Their policy towards the Palestinians is not going to change.
Right. And Lebanon, of course.
Yeah.
All right, that's about it. Unless you have anything you want to add to the Swedish listeners, mostly my audience is from here. Some of them from Norway and Denmark as well, so Scandinavia, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think this. Stay tuned to see what Russia's going to do. I think you should expect them to start doing, attacking in earnest this week. And
yeah, we'll know before ahead of you, because we're only 4 hours away.
Yeah, they're not going to let. I don't think they're going to let up. I think it'll be persistent.
Yeah, that's what I suspect as well. I mean, just like the Iranian officials and the Russian officials, they always do what they say,
right?
In contrary to the United States.
Yeah, that's the point I've been making. That Ray McGovern always said, if you want to know what the Russians are going to do, just listen to what they say. They don't. They're not a bunch of bullshit artists. They don't lie.
Exactly. I mean, it's pretty obvious even for us over here in Europe that Trump is playing a financial game as well. Part of this, okay, we have a ceasefire, stock market goes up, oil prices go down, and then all of a sudden, no, there's a problem with the Strait of Hormuz. There's a problem with the Iranians. There's a problem with the Saudi Arabias, the Kuwaitis, the Persian Gulf is the problem. Yeah, stock market goes down, oil prices up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's been manipulation every week.
Right.
Every week, manipulated.
Yeah, from one day to another, actually.
Yeah.
I'm saying insane in my eyes. Unfortunately, Swedish media and European media is not aware of anything. They're occupied with bullshit issues that has nothing to do with the problem that we have a European Commission and leadership that actually is provoking war with Russia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now the latest was, these miniature countries with 6 million total people, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, they're going to be wiped off the map if they continue, and they got their representatives as high up as Kaja Kallas in the European Commission. She's the foreign spokesperson, minister for all of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy.
Yeah. No, the Europeans have a death wish. That's the only way to look at it.
Yeah. That will be the final word. Death
all
wish.
right, my friend.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, enjoy your beautiful summer up there.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.